Why are you excited about having your work shown at the Fruitlands Museum in Harvard, Mass?
I'm excited about having a show at the Fruitlands Museum because it's like my first museum show. It's awesome. I mean, how often do you get to have a museum show? I think it just makes me feel good that the curator, Mike Volmar, really likes my work, and not just my work, but the other work of the artists Brian Burse and Cynthia Worley.
What are your inspirations for creating this body of work?
Were for the nighttime, we talked about having the nighttime theme, nocturnal or night. And we actually, for me also, is Visceral Murmurs, the name of the show. Visceral being from inside, which I think also harkens back to the history of the museum, and Murmurs, which is just, for me, when I wrote my artist statement, I mentioned that the murmuring of my soul to help me create this. So that's basically me hearkening back to my childhood when I was young and I was out in the woods a lot, and being very introverted, I would wander off by myself, and I would often find myself along a lake or a shoreline around twilight and just sort of enjoying nature. And that is unfortunately not something I get to do very often, so this was a nice way to get back to that.
Very nice. So what appealed to you about the evening or night theme that you've developed around for this show?
It's something that I haven't really created in my artwork at all, and I thought it was a nice challenge to create something like that, and especially a challenge because I have two other artists who are painters who are also creating their work with the same theme, and to have our work together was really interesting and a fun challenge for me.
Can you describe one of the pieces
Sure.
you're including in the show?
One of the pieces that I'm including in the show has a goddess figure running through the field with trailing a piece of cloth, and this was a really fun piece for me to do because it reminded me of when we were young and innocent, and like most young little kids running around, they like to play, and this sort of harkens back to that early childhood, playing in the field when things were young and innocent.
How is this work different from the work you've done in the past?
This work is different from the work that I've done in the past, as this is incorporating the nature aspect, and actually for me on a technical level, shooting outside, which is something I hadn't done before. I usually shoot in the studio, so to combine the elements of outside and waiting on the weather and things like that create a lot of more technical issues, but it was really fun to do and we had a great time.
So what will people see if they come out and see this show?
If people come out to see this show, they're going to see three amazing artists who really love what they do, and they're going to see the differences and be able to compare and contrast between our work, which I think will be fun, and get to see new work from all of us, or maybe get to experience new artists. Like if you've never seen our work before, you'll get to see that. And if you know us and know our previous work, you'll get to see something completely new from all of us.
Excellent.
My name is Cynthia Worley. I'm an artist residing in Worcester, Massachusetts, and my artwork is focused on the landscape and atmosphere with hints of different emotions worked into it.
That was better. Good job.
I'm excited about having my work shown at the Fruitlands Museum, partly because I've always drawn a lot of inspiration from scenic vistas, and what more perfect view than the hilltop at the Fruitlands Museum.
So what were your inspirations for creating this body of work?
My inspiration inspirations for this body of work partly came from building upon what I've done in the past with very atmospheric mark making and tonal values within a landscape, but also drawing upon different emotions. I hate saying sorry. It's been about 6 years since my last major group show, so I'm really looking forward to showing that progression.
So what appealed to you about this evening or night theme that the three of you are going to have throughout the show?
Partly I've always been on the edge of it anyway. With my artwork, it's been very cloudy or moody scenes, but never really at night. So that was a challenge for me, and it had me address different color values and also the opportunity to start looking as the moon as a subject matter.
How are you feeling about the work you created for the show?
Well, my feelings about the work I created for the show, combined with excitement and a lot of anxiety, because I probably am my worst critic, in all honesty. But I'm looking forward to seeing how it's received and perceived.
Awesome. Can you describe one of the pieces you're including in the show?
The waxing moon painting that is shown behind me is an exploration of the moon that I'd mentioned before, and really the contradictions that are within the symbolism within that. A waning moon means the end of something, but the end of something is always the beginning of something else.
So what will people see when they come out to the show?
What people will see when they come out to the Fruitlands Museum for the Visceral Murmurs exhibition is 3 unique perspectives on the theme of night, with the psychological aspects and the symbolism of that, as well as incorporations of the philosophies that are represented there at the Fruitlands Museum.
Why are you excited about having your work shown at the Fruitlands Museum in Harvard, Mass?
I'm excited about showing at the Fruitlands because, for one, it will be my first museum show. That's pretty exciting right there. That's a watermark or a benchmark, whatever they call it. Plus, I felt a connection with the transcendentalists, you know, and the paintings really reflect that. And I thought also visiting the Fruitlands really kind of brought me back to that connection and to where I grew up, which is Bedford, Mass, which is also steeped in history. So I think it's prestigious.
Who are you hoping will come out and see this exhibition?
Considering it's outside of Worcester, I'm hoping people will come west up Route 2 and take advantage of it. I'm glad there's going to be a different crowd than usual, you know, because we all get exposure to artists, to viewers who just haven't seen our work before, so that can only be good.
Can you describe one of the pieces you're including in the show?
Let's see. One of the pieces I'm including in the show would be The Place of Bones, which it actually reflects that Native Americans used to make cairns. The practice originated in the Northeast. So it was an important, powerful place for them. Just the color schemes came out very complementary to one another. So it kind of picks up on the tonalism that we're all touching base with, and just visually I think it really stands out. Actually, I'd like to think all the pieces pretty much stand out, but yeah, I think that one registers well and will stick with people.
How is this work different from the kind of work you've done in the past?
These pieces are the pinnacle of me painting at least one painting a week all last year. And we got word that we were doing the Fruitlands show right as I was coming to the end of that. that mad painting session. So they not only, do they reflect the stylistic change that comes with painting at that pace, but they really are the pinnacle of it. They're a little more evocative than other pieces that I've shown. So it's, the style shift is there. So even people who are familiar with my work should come out and take a look.
Hi. I'm from Worcester, artiste.
Okay. Hi, I'm Brian Barrs. I'm a Worcester artist. I do abstracts. They tend to be interpreted as moody or unsettling. I definitely push for the psychological interpretation of my pieces. And my best hope is that people are affected by them. What more could you ask for?
So what were the inspirations for you to create this body of work?
Stuff.
I'm really excited about having my work shown at the Fruitlands Museum because I've always gotten a lot of inspiration from, what was the word I used?
Scenic vistas? Or?
Scenic vistas. I'm really looking forward to meeting new
I'm putting that
new
in.
people,
I'm totally
new
putting
art
that in.
appreciators.
Hi. I'm from Worcester, artiste.
When people come out to the Fruitlands Museum to see the Visceral Murmurs exhibition, they'll see 3 unique perspectives on the themes of night and the mystery of that, along with inspirations from the philosophy that the Fruitlands Museum incorporates in their collection. Oh, shit.
You're totally going to hear that on there.
Absolutely. Everything you just said,
Do you want me to
that
repeat?
tend to have.
Do you want me to start from the
Basically,
beginning?
yeah.